In this video I will be building or assembling this Lenovo S510 desktop computer. This one I got only as a case, motherboard and a power supply combo because somebody had taken out all the other parts from it. I got it for 50 euros used, and this one has had a ninth generation i5 CPU inside and probably some GPU like GTX 1650 or similar. I happened to have some compatible parts for this PC, and I'm going to install some maybe lower performance parts than it had originally. I'm going to install 8th Gen i3 8100. This i3 is a quad core unlike the previous i3s, so it should have okay gaming performance. I got this CPU used for 45 euros. I'm also going to install a GTX 1050 Ti GPU, which I got with a used build. These parts should be compatible with the power supply because this PC originally had a configuration which had these exact parts, I believe. The power supply is only 210 watts, so that's actually pretty weird. I haven't seen PSU wattages this small even with these kind of low wattage parts this has, but it should be fine because this PC shipped with this configuration. I originally tried to install a Kingston SATA M2 SSD, but I noticed that this PC does not support SATA SSDs, so I needed to get an ADATA SSD, which was NVMe 1. I installed one RGB strip, which is remote controlled and plugs into the motherboard's USB 2 header, which the motherboard luckily has available, and it's not a standard header. It has 2 more pins, but it works when you connect the USB to the right prongs. I used an adapter to connect the normal type A to a motherboard header. I will link that adapter in the description. I wanted to install the RGB strip so that the PC can still be opened up. So I mounted the RGB strip onto the side opening door and used some PCIe slot covers to smoothen out the RGB strip lights. I used the graphics card to mount the receiver for the RGB lights because the receiver needs to be where the perforated part of the grill is on the side panel so that it can get a signal from the remote control. To make the RGB lights more visible, I mounted this piece of plastic onto the side panel, which smoothens out and shows the lights quite nicely. Booting up the computer, it booted straight into the BIOS and everything seemed to be okay there. So I proceeded to install Windows 10 from a USB drive. As a finishing touch, I applied these stickers onto the side and yeah, it works with the RGB LEDs and everything. After running Prime 95 and Furmark at the same time while also having the LEDs on, I checked that the power supply is enough to handle all of this PC's hardware in worst situation. CSGO ran surprisingly well at 220 FPS at competitive settings, but Fortnite was a bit of a disappointment at only 130 FPS. So I don't know what's up with that, since older hardware has achieved better results for me.